Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Will Trump really run for a third term? Like, is this even legal? We will talk about that, okay? And what will happen now that Elon Musk has left Doge? The stars are speaking and they're very loud and it's very clear. And in today's video, we are decoding power, ego, and the next big move for these two huge mega men that needs to be watched heavily, okay? So yeah, let's dive in.
3, 2, 1.
I love you.
First of all, I want to talk about the inauguration chart. Oh, here we are. There we go. Okay, so now I know that's Trump, but we really want to look at the inauguration. So let me change this and put the inauguration chart alone. Now, for a minute I said, okay, I want to revisit this inauguration chart. I did a video on this already, you guys, and I explained basically when you look at the inauguration chart, it can tell you what you are in for the next 4 years of presidency. And now, so I have a video on this already. So go ahead and check that out. But we'll revisit. Okay. So first of all, if you see here, we are dealing with a Taurus rising. Taurus rising is all about the money, money, money. Okay. What we deem as valuable, what Trump deems as valuable, what Trump and his presidency deems as valuable. And that is, of course, money, tariffs, taxes. Okay. A lot about the self-worth of I was going to say California, of America. So you got money. Also too, not only that, you have Mercury in the sign Capricorn. Why am I lost in the sauce here? Mercury in the sign Capricorn, and that's very strategic. It's about traditions, it's about long-term energy, it's very determined. So a lot of things that he's thinking about the presidency is not just for now. He's thinking about long term. Okay. Now, also, we have Jupiter retrograding in the sign Gemini, a lot of communication. And he's probably going to repeat some things or delay some things or say things and then re-say them. Okay. But you're dealing with the tweets, the emails, everything dealing with communication. You could even talk about like a leak coming out in a form of a letter or something with social media. And yeah, and now he's redoing it. Now, when we're dealing with retrogrades, you're talking about systems from the past too. So again, messages that are repeating, he's double backing. There could be contradiction. He could be overexposed. Maybe there's some PR messages, trying to make him look better, all that stuff. Now, Jupiter really works well for him. Jupiter is sitting on top of his sun and his Uranus. So a lot of unpredictability with Trump itself. And I discussed this already, but we're just, reminding you guys. Now, Saturn is in the sign Pisces. We got Uranus in the sign Taurus, okay? Saturn in Pisces is restriction. It also represents government, conspiracy in government. There could be some abstract concepts happening. Also, limitations due to religion. So that could be everyone's theory of Israel being in charge of the government. That is very much possible with this placement. And then it's sitting very close to partnership, that is Venus, and Venus is in the sign of religion and spirituality as well. So that is a big part of this 4 years that we have coming up. Now, Uranus in the sign Taurus, that again is about our finances and our money. And also too, Uranus is about expect the unexpected, something different, something rich, something very futuristic, something that's very out of the box, or sudden changes too. Okay, so big changes in finances all around, huge surprises. And then again, we have Pluto. It's sitting next to the sun in the sign Aquarius, and Pluto is a major transformation in the future, a major transformation in communication. It's also okay. It's also freedom of speech and it be taken away. Okay. And I also said in a past video that this could be death of a leader. Okay. This is death of somebody's having power, or the transformation of power is happening. Okay. But there's some huge element with social media because that's what Aquarius represents. Science and space, all that could be really huge within this 4 years. Okay. Now, let me see. Let's see what else we have now, because this is also this is the inauguration, but this also is Doge. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit later, but I want you to understand that this is Doge. Now let me first tell you some major themes with Aquarius. Aquarius is about innovation, rebellion, technology, systems, space, science, astrology, the collective, people fighting for a cause, right? There could be some future thinking, there's human rights, and there's liberation. So when you have the boycotts, you're boycotting Amazon with DEI, you're boycotting Elon Musk, you're protesting Elon Musk. All that is because of this. And it's going to happen the whole 4 years of presidency. Okay. Now it's going to happen longer because this stays in here for a long time. But because we have the sun sitting here, it's just making it bigger. It's giving him a more powerful presence. Also, too, there could be a transformation in how we rebel. Okay. So maybe the boycotting could be like more online or something like that. That could also be happening too. Let me see. Willpower and obsession, intense self-awareness. There could be a huge breakdown, a challenge, something very, because this planet does represent intensity. So a lot of intense boycotting and rebellion, or something very intense far as like freedom of speech being shut down. You see that already happening. If you say anything that's anti-Semitic, you're pretty much out here, or what they deem anti-Semitic. And that changes, which is very taking away freedom of speech. Whether you agree of it being nice or not nice, it's still America's right to have a freedom of speech. If someone wanted to get on here and say the N-word, I don't think they should go to jail because they said the N-word. Speaking of, I just saw that Blackpink, the group, were like caught saying the N-word like 1,000 times. Do I think they should be arrested? Absolutely not. Do I think they should be deported? No. So the same would go for if you say something anti-Semitic, because that's anti-Black, right? Okay. Anyway, back to this. But yes, with this, there's a lot of things, maybe even rebellion against leaders, all that. Yeah, Pluto also likes to suppress. There's things that are mystery, there are things that are hidden, denied, and manipulated. And that sun is going to bring an awareness to that. So we will get some amplified themes of secrets, exposure, and transformation of power, or being aware of who's obsessed with the power. Okay. Also, this is control power, control issues. Both of these, this is the ego, this is obsessed with power. So you have all that. And in Aquarius, you're talking about a lot of rebellions of power, the individual versus the system, or the individual versus the government, the individual, the people versus not having freedom. Yeah, and it could be something with technology and social media and AI, and there's like a mass awakening. Yeah, but a lot of shift in people. And this is going to happen all through the 4 years of presidency, Trump being president. Okay. Now, also, too, we have a moon in Libra. You guys, I have the heater on actually, and it's really making me hot. So you guys like this video while I turn this heater off real quick. Okay, she's back. Okay, I grabbed my water too. All right, now, so that is what we have for. Oh, also too, I wanted to say that the moon is in Libra too, for this inauguration. And a moon in Libra is a huge focus on the people in our partnerships. Okay, fairness, balance, law, justice, harmony. All these things are going to affect the people, and a lot of partnerships, like who are we in partnership with, all that is going to affect the next 4 years while Trump is. So you have all these discussions of our neighbors, Canada, Mexico, Israel, all that is what that Libra represents. Okay, let me see what else I have. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of exposing of power and leadership. I think, well, not even think, we already know that freedom of speech is being questioned, is going to get worse. Okay, now Mars is retrograding in Cancer here and is sitting next to that IC. So a lot of defense and insecurity far as our homeland and fighting for the homeland, and yeah, and Also, too, what else do we have? Neptune in Pisces. Well, I just want to say there's a lot of emotions, high emotions when protecting things or when trying to achieve things in this 4 year of presidency. And then Neptune in Pisces is a lot of illusions, blurred roles, and Delulu when it comes to the government. We kind of don't know what's going on there. Of course, that's pretty normal. Venus is also conjunct Saturn and Pisces. I do believe that this could be dealing with finances as well, because Saturn is limits. Venus represents money, finances. So there could be like this Doge thing, right? And creating Doge and having a strict budget. That is also happening too. And Uranus is sextile, which I've discussed this in way more detail, but I just want to remind you of what's going on. And Uranus is sextile, this energy here. And when it's sextile Neptune, okay, you're talking about Uranus is the planet of innovation, disruption, future tech, rebellion. And Neptune is illusions, dreams, confusion, religion, spirituality. And then when you have them sextiling, that means that these things could work together. So there could be big disruption when it comes to our finances, and huge surprise, hence why Doge all of a sudden had all these layoffs and is doing something that's very out of the box, and it could be very secretive what they're doing behind closed doors. Okay, so you do have that. All right, so that is what we have for just a quick roundup of what we have for the inauguration. And before we even continue, I do want you guys to, I hit the like button, but blah, 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 blah. That was me stuttering. But if you like this kind of energy, if you like to talk about astrology and you love this kind of deep cosmic tea, don't just watch from the sidelines. Subscribe, so you never miss out what I drop or any type of astrological readings and chart readings. You get exclusive content and horoscope, and I go in some astrological tips on my newsletter. So join my newsletter. It is free, and you get a weekly newsletter on all the astrological aspects. And if you're ready to go even more deeper, right? You love it all. You're like, I want to go all in. I do readings. I talk about rituals, like things you can do. If you don't want to call them rituals, even habits and routines you can do, astrological and real-time insights. I go deeper in my community. So join my Astro Tarot Club, and you can thank your future self for that. Okay, so hit subscribe, tap the link, join the movement, and let's get cosmic. All right, so now let's talk about okay. First of all, that's what they're saying. He should not even be doing having a third year, but it is what it is. The thing is, it is what it is. No, that's not what I meant to say. There's loopholes that possibly could happen, even though this is illegal. We know that you can only do two terms. Me listening to some news clips, it could be possible that he can go under JD Vance and all this. Now, I'm going to read the chart. We're going to explain it according to the chart, but I want you to understand. I'm going to look at and see what January 2029 looks like for Trump. Okay. I didn't do his progressive chart. We can go in that a little bit deeper, but I just want you to know I'm looking at the chart and him, the current vibe in the sky for January 20th, 2029, what it looks like for him. Is he, this is during the inauguration, right? Also, I want you to understand that I'm not looking at AOC's chart, Josh Shapiro's chart, Gavin Newsom's chart, Gretchen Whitmer chart, JD Vance's chart. Too many charts, okay, for one video, because I also want to talk about Elon. But in the future, I will be breaking down all these charts, and then we can see who has a better chart when it comes to presidency to see this is even happening. Okay. Also, too, I didn't go throughout the years because I don't know when you start to campaign. Maybe in 2028. We'll briefly look at that and see what we have here. Okay. But I connected it to 2029. And let's get back and see what we have here. Hold up, wait a minute. All right, so we're going to the inauguration, and no, we're actually going to go into Trump. Hold up, here we go. Trump, and then I looked at 2029. Okay, so we'll add a second chart. Good morning. My daughter just woke up, and it's not even morning. Oh, she barely made it. It is morning time. Okay, so we're going to go to 2029. And then we're going to go back to January 20th. Okay, so here we are. And also, too, Kamala, too. You know, I predicted that she won't win presidency. So that didn't happen. But here we go. All right, so first, I do want to say, oh, this is what I want to say. There is an eclipse happening here. There's an eclipse that's going to happen. Okay, there's 3 charts. We'll remove it. I don't want to remove it and have to redo it. Okay, I'm just going to explain it to you guys. I hope this isn't too complicated, okay? On the outside here, we have the eclipse. Then here, we'll switch these. So the eclipse, this is Trump here. Trump needs to be there. This is Trump on the inside. This is the eclipse that's going to happen January 14th. And then this is what happens on the 20th. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up the eclipse, because the eclipse changes things. It's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? What is happening? And there's a solar partial eclipse in the sign Capricorn, which represents the government. Okay. And it's at 24 degrees. 24 degrees is a Pisces degree. That means some ending or death that could be happening. Okay. Now, this eclipse, I'm going to have to remove this. We'll remove the chart. I'll stop being lazy, okay? And I'll remove Trump just so we can explain the eclipse, okay? So the eclipse here, I want you to understand that this is the eclipse is at 24 degrees, and also it's conjunct Mercury. Mercury is in Capricorn, okay? That's how we communicate. The news, everything, of course, is going to be about the government. It's also conjunct the North Node. That means we're gaining something new, something different in regards to the government, in regards to regulations, okay? And when it comes to Trump now I'll put Trump back on here. This is happening in his 6th house. I do want you to understand that. That is about work, organization, also to him giving to the community, him being a service, okay? The eclipse is opposing some personal planets of his. It's opposing Venus, it's opposing his Saturn, and this is in the 12th house. And Venus, the day of the eclipse, let me see what my notes here. Venus, the day of the eclipse, is opposing, his Mercury too. So all these planets are opposing the planets in the 12th house, okay? And this is just 6 days before their inauguration. So let's say it's not going to affect Trump. This has nothing to do with Trump. This is going to affect someone in leadership running for presidency. It's going to bring a major shift, and it's going to bring something new. Okay. You heard it here first. That is in 2029. Now, if we're just talking about Trump, okay, I just want you to understand what Capricorn represents, because that's what this eclipse is about. It is about government, institutions, law and order. It's about your public reputation. It's about authority figures. It's about old men. You know, sometimes I think old white men, but also about the greatest of all time, leadership. Did I say leadership? Leadership, tradition as well. Okay. And it's things that are going to take time. This is going to be a reset of power. Okay. And Capricorn eclipse is especially potent when it comes to governments, when it comes to leaders, the political system, also the economy. The economy is huge with Capricorn too. Okay. So there could be a changing of the structure of government. So this could be possible. This eclipse could be a very possible energy. However, it's opposing his endings, which can mean one or two things: not working good with things that he should be ending, which also can go with the narrative that he could be doing a third term, or the government is not trying to hear anything he's saying, or there's something secretive behind closed doors, okay? Illusions, deceptions, or the ending is really harsh. Okay, but the fall or rise of a political leader, that could be happening. Maybe there's exposure of a corruption. Maybe someone who is in authority or the government, there could be, okay, everyone look at this, this is what's going on. Now this could be 6 months before the election or 6 months after, because they usually last that long. And then too, I didn't look and see how long this eclipse is, because that tells you how long it is. But major shifts in economy, international diplomacy, and tensions too. Okay, now eclipses often proceed with crisis in leadership, turn in policy, some public protests or unrest. The leadership is changing. Okay, this happened, when we had an eclipse, Watergate. That happened with an eclipse. The Arab Spring uprising was during the eclipse. Brexit was during the eclipse. Trump's election was during the eclipse, and Trump is actually born during the eclipse. Okay, so this all could be factoring into him. Okay, now he was born during Sagittarius eclipse, so things are different, but it's still an eclipse. That energy could be very strong for him. Okay, now also too, I want you to understand, we're back. Okay, so that's the eclipse. Now let's go back to 2029. Okay, so now we're at 2029. We're going to go to January. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's so silent. This is good. Okay, so now we're January 20th, 2029, okay? And while we are at this one, let me see. Yes, Mercury's retrograding in Capricorn, redoing things in Capricorn. The government, this is going to be a big doozy, this next presidency coming up. This is going to be very interesting, because you're talking about rewriting the narrative. Something from the past could be coming up. Hence, it could be Trump, or something with political positions. Is major government, is major restrictions, and it's in the news. It's all over the place. Okay, it's also sitting close to Venus. Venus is all about, it could be a woman, so like a woman from the past could be coming up. Again, you do have Kamala. I don't, want to say Clinton, or maybe this could be AOC yourself, because that is, Venus is in Capricorn. So you do have that. Okay, but when you have this in Trump's chart, when you're looking at Trump's house, you're talking about he's focused on work, he's focused on duty, he's focused on service, he's focused on the whole government and what he does for a living, to his day-to-day tasks, like his duty to the country. Okay, and when you have it retrograding, you have it sitting next to the North Node, and you have it with Venus, he's probably rewriting some government rules. That could be a possibility. Okay, controversies around the election, huge with this one. Okay, major restructuring of government departments. Maybe there's a whistleblower coming, or a leak, because when you have Mercury retrograding, you get that, and it's a whistleblower towards government. Okay, American leadership and trust. There's big commentary that's going to happen with that. Okay, and let me see what else. Again, I told you leadership change. Some scandals or secrets could be revealed. Transitions of authority could be an issue here, because that leadership is Capricorn. Okay, and also two messages of leadership too, public shifts of trust and legitimacy. Now this energy is going to square Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter is a good planet for Trump. Now it's squaring, I'm not sure, because when he ran for presidency last time and won this term, now Jupiter was sitting on top of his sun, and that's him achieving things, and it worked really well for him. Jupiter is sitting kind of close to his Jupiter, so there could be some major, he will be in stories for sure, but it's leading Jupiter, his Jupiter, so it's leaving at good luck, and then now it's squaring, and this is not his Jupiter, this is the Jupiter in the sky. Okay, now it's in his third house. You're talking about communication and speeches, and like strategy also too. So, and Jupiter does represent the law and legal issues. So there could be that, but there could be some backfiring happening, because it's squaring Mercury. Okay, some backfiring. And also too, Libra represent law. Okay, so something with the law, like a public scandal, or something with the law not working, court rulings, lawsuits, legal documents, that all could be happening, but he's communicating it. Also, this is the house of transportation. So Jupiter and Libra, I think it's going to be something legal, something with negotiations, and it's squaring what is the law. Okay, so big deal with that one. So this is again another possibility. Let me see what else I have here in my notes. conflict between how he governs or leads and how he communicates, media backlash, legal disputes, again, maintain control of the narrative, vision of law and justice. Yeah, major miscommunication or major confusion. I don't want to say confusion because that's more Pisces and Neptune, but I'm thinking that there's going to be a huge conflict and change when it comes to the law. That is what I see, or court, something dealing with court. That is also what I see, are his relationship with someone in regards to the government. That also could be JD Vance too, because that Libra energy could be your partnership, and it could be JD Vance as well. So could he do a third term? It looks like so far that this is, never say never. This could be a huge possibility. And yeah, also too, let me see. Um, because we have this in the third house, which is very great for him, I do think he's going to give a lot more speeches. And when it first hits Libra, there's going to be some deception and secrets here. I just want you to know that, because it's going to hit that energy. Now, when you have these oppositions happening here, Saturn in the 12th house, you're talking about isolation, confinement. It could be illness too. And Venus in that 12th house are hidden enemies, suppressed desires. They're opposing. So that means they are not seeing eye to eye. There's an imbalance here, and there needs to be imbalance. So there could be some conflict on what the people want and what he wants, or what the duty of what he's supposed to govern versus what his true intentions are, him behind the scenes. Okay, there's going to be something hidden that we won't be able to see, in deceptions here that we won't be able to see, but it's conflicting his day-to-day and his work and his duty and his service to others. Okay, whether you agree, if he does service, he's doing service to somebody. Okay, because that is what that represents in everyone's house, in everyone's natal chart. Okay, let me see what else we have. Transitioning Venus in Capricorn. Where is the Venus? Venus is in Capricorn. It's opposing, okay, his Mercury. Okay. Tensions with how he speaks. People are not supporting the things that he's saying in regards to America, because Cancer does represent America. A message or a statement is released, and it's also, that could be happening with that eclipse too. Something big could be said too, because that eclipse had Mercury sitting close to it too. Let me see overall predictions I have here. Possibility that he could run for a third term. We had Venus involved. That is about partnerships. So he could do what I'm thinking, the JD Vance way. That is a possibility. It's supposed to be an end of an era. That's what the eclipse could represent. Like, no, in this, that eclipse could represent that. There could be some drama around documents or legal battles or betrayal. Or he may rewrite the narrative and change things up. Okay. That is what we have for the eclipse. That's what we have for, yeah. And then let me see what else we have for January 29. Saturn is in Taurus. Where is our Saturn? Saturn will be in the sign Taurus. And Saturn, okay, yeah. So Saturn, and it's just not going to be entering Taurus. So this is a change in government too, but now it's focused on money. Okay, here we go. More money, of course, but that's what the government is about, right? And it's sitting on top of his MC, directly sitting on top of his MC. So this either could be that he has a heavy burden or a heavy limitation on his work. So that's not the best for him, but it could be the best, because conjunctions are very close, good or bad, but it's going to be strong. So this is not a definite here, right? With this placement could either mean that now he has more burdens that are challenging, or there is a limitation in the far as his control, his career, his reputation. All right, or lessons that he has to learn. And then that Jupiter in that third house is sextile his Mars. And that is perfectly sextile his Mars in his first house. And that's positive. So him expressing things, him saying things, or maybe even his partner, which could be JD Vance, if it's going off of my theory, that's working in him trying to achieve to be a leader. So yes, major positive energy, especially because when you are running a campaign and you're running for president, you are putting in a work. Unless you're horrible at it, but most, because I was about to speak about Kamala, I didn't think she was doing her best, but but the sextiles usually work because you are doing your best. Now Uranus is in Gemini, and it's conjunct his Uranus and his North Node. Now this is a plot twist here, okay? Because before, when he ran for president, we had Jupiter sitting on top of that Uranus, and Jupiter sitting on top of that the Sun, and Jupiter brought good luck to him when he was on social media. Now, this is major social media to some extreme, like he's moving too fast. It's strong energy and political rebellion is what this could represent, like a powerful return of Trump and the saying of it. But this is major communication across the board, and him communicating in a different way, him repeating the communication, coming back, or there's some delays in some type of speech or social media or tweets or emails, all that is just redoing, but a lot of expect the unexpected, also a lot of fighting for rebelling or protesting the system. That could be happening for Trump, like he's protesting the system. Okay, Mercury retrograding in Capricorn is in that 6th house, which we discussed, and this is also some strategic replays too, right? He's rethinking the rules. He's the workforce, the government, the function of the government, legal documents, and you're talking about Capricorn. So Capricorn is all about authority and power struggles. So there could be a rewriting of some policies here. That could be very much an issue here. And then the sun is in the 7th house. Now, this is a part that makes me think that whoever he's running against will win. Okay. So this is someone who has the transfer of power. And he had this. And when he had it before, it was over here. Yes. So it was working, but it did go here and it was a transfer of power. Actually, let me go to what is this year? 2025. In 2025, he had this same transformation here, a transformation of power. And now it's back. This just makes me think that he is handing it off to someone else, that someone else is getting a transformation. This is usually mean a combust, but I have some. We'll see. This is the thing. I need to see if it's combust if you're dealing with Pluto, because I was told that it's not a combust if you're dealing with Pluto. But let's see how this plays out. I have to relook at that next time Aquarius. But between the years, I have to see how that works out and see if you can, if Pluto can be combust when it's dealing with the sun. Combust meaning that Pluto's not quite working the way it should be working. Okay, but before he had this and it was transfer of power, so this could be a transfer of power for him or a transfer of power to his partner. So this makes me think that, again, that JD Vance could be president and he could be vice president. That could be happening because that's what that 7th house does represent. Okay. Also to open enemies. That also represents that. So he could be giving it to an open enemy. So far, several things here that I'm going to recap. Uranus is sitting on top of his Uranus. Expect the unexpected is a Uranus return. This is big out of the box things here. Okay. Major campaign and going around saying a lot of speeches, and it's moving really fast. Okay. Really over the top. Jupiter, he has a Jupiter return. That's very positive for him. A lot of expansion, a lot of good luck, especially when it's partnership. If JD Vance is still his partner, that's great for him. It works for Trump, and he could run as a VP, not as a president, and get it again. Now it's going to sextile the Mars. Mars is him achieving in Leo in leadership. That works really great for him too. This is a positive, the most positive planet for him because he's born in daytime. So this works really good for him. Now on this side, we do have this planet retrograding. It's sitting kind of close to Venus. These things here all represent law. These things here all represent changing up the law and the rules and the structure of how things go. This is in the house of him trying to get his duty, his trying to do his everyday work, him trying to be service of others. Now there is an eclipse that's happening 6 days before. That's going to change some things. That's going to be really big. So we'll see how that goes. It's going to be really huge for him. Okay. So now I pulled some tarot before to see, like, is this even possible? Will he even win? I pulled the 2 of Pentacles. Okay. Because I was like so nosy. And the 2 of Pentacles made me think like, oh my gosh, yes. The 2 of Pentacles is like juggling 2 things. It represents duality, which again is representing a partnership. It's also in the earth element, and earth element is also dealing with Capricorn, again working with the government. Okay, so I'm thinking he is going to run under JD Vance. That could be very much possibility. Also, the 2 of Pentacles represents adapting, being flexible, like, changing a perspective here, changing the way 2 things, the way the system is working. That could be possible. weighing or testing the waters for a third term, exploring legal loopholes, media reactions and public sentiment. Some people are for him, some people are not for him. Also, the Two of Pentacles has the water kind of running in the background, like the ocean, some waves. So the emotions are pretty high here. But there could be several strategies that he does, like 2 strategies, okay? Or maybe him teasing the idea, we're not really acting on it. That could be a possibility too. But there's an instability with the plan that also could be like it's up or down, up or down. Okay. What this does not mean, what it does not suggest is that he's not running. This is not saying that. This is saying that there is a potential for him running. Okay. That the plan is currently lawful. That is not what this is saying. This is saying that he could do something to change the law. Okay. And that the path is very clear or confident. It's up or down. Okay. So that is what we have for Trump. I do believe he's going to be testing the boundaries. I do believe, he does have some Leo energy. He wants to stay in power. He's obsessed with power. So you do have that. Now, I do want you guys to have the reality of because I want you to have perspective of what is going on here outside of if you are a blood or a crip. Okay, that means Democrat or Republican. I want you to understand that he did step away from the first term. I do understand that January 6th happened. However, he did leave. Okay, he left. So there is that. I want everyone to have that real concept in their head, because a lot of people are like, it was the January 6th, it was the what was it called, the insurrection, January 6th. Yes, we know that to be true. However, he did not stay, he left. Okay, so we have to put that in perspective. Now, coming in forward, I do see that there is an eclipse. I do see that Mercury's retrograding in Capricorn. I do see that in his chart, there could be a possibility that he's finagling things. 100%. He does have fixed energy. He is obsessed with power. So all that could definitely be happening. Okay. So that is what we have for Trump. Now we're moving on. We'll revisit Trump a little bit later. Okay. So now we are moving on to Elon Musk. Okay. Now, Elon Musk is not with Doge anymore. Okay, so this is according to political.com. Trump tells Inner Circle that Musk will leave soon. President Trump has told his inner circle, including members of his cabinet, that Elon Musk will be stepping back in the coming weeks from his current role as governing partner. The president remains pleased with Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency initiative, but both men have decided in recent days that it will soon be time for Musk to re-enter to his businesses and to take on supporting role, according to 3 Trump insiders who were granted secrecy to describe the evolving relationship. Now, in The Guardian, Musk to remain friend and advisor to Trump after leaving Doge, says Vance. Okay, as a special government employee, Musk possession here. Current service is capped at 130 days, which is counted from the day of the inauguration. It is set to expire sometime in late May. So on Wednesday, Musk, it wasn't expired, but on Wednesday, Musk dismissed the report as fake news. This was in quotes, and that the White House press secretary, she went and said, like, no, the political is garbage. And he will not depart from public service as a special government employee when his incredible work for Doge is until it is complete. Well, as of Thursday morning, interview with Fox News, Vance stated, Doge has got a lot of work to do. And yeah, the work is going to continue after Elon leaves. But fundamentally, Elon is going to remain as a friend and an advisor, both me and the presidency. Okay, so what does this have to say? What are we thinking here? Okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to let you know. Here I am. Currently, let me remove Trump. Let me just tell you what we have currently. Okay, this is what we have currently. Okay, Mercury's retrograding. And when Mercury's retrograding, it's a lot of say and not say, change and do. It's in Pisces. There's a lot of fog and deceptions and secrets and what is going on, some confusion happening, and a lot of backpedaling. A lot of say this one day, say this the next day. This is not having anything to do with government. This is just me telling you about astrology. Okay. So a lot of this today, that tomorrow. Okay. All that. Elon, let's break down his chart and see what we have. for him. And let me see, what was the first thing according to my notes, what I looked at? I looked at, oh, let's pull up his chart, shall we? Elon's chart here. And Elon's chart. Okay. And then I compared it to actually the inauguration chart, because the inauguration chart would represent Doge, because that's when it started. Okay. Where's my water? Let me take some water. What are your thoughts on Elon, you guys? Thoughts on all these things with Elon? Actually, looking at this, I'm just going to tell you right now, doesn't look the best for Elon. Okay. Now, but here we go. So now we're looking at this chart, and we are Elon's chart. First of all, it had a B rating, I think. So it wasn't a high rating, but just letting you guys know. Elon is a Cancer rising, just so you, and also to a Cancer sun. So Elon's Mars in Aquarius is what I was looking at. Where is it? We're going off of, oh, should we go off of, let's switch. Let's go off of Doge. Okay. So Elon's Mars in Aquarius is in the 10th house of Doge, and it's sitting, it's not sitting close, but it's in the same house of this transformation of power here. Also, it's squaring Uranus. Uranus means, even if I looked at this before, I would have said, whoa, some unexpected changes in him trying to achieve all those things that he's achieving for the future. Okay, let me see. I'm pretty sure I have Aquarius energy. But first of all, Doge, if we just look at Doge alone, and you have Uranus in the first house, is very much don't box me in kind of energy. Okay, it's on its own terms. It's going to do things regarding what they deem as resources and money, and it's going to be very out of the box. It's going to be very futuristic. It's going to be rebellious. So that Dogeing is very fitting for the presidency that Trump has. Okay, so futuristic, rebellious, system-based energy, all about communications, AI, space, tech. All that stuff is dealing with this Doge energy in that first house. Okay. Now it is Elon's Mercury. Okay. Let me see what else do I have here. Elon's Mercury in Cancer is conjunct the Doge. Okay. So let me see if I have anything else that explains Doge. Oh, okay, but let me go back to here, because I wanted to go back to here. This is expected unexpected when he's trying to achieve something. Surprise! There's a surprise here. Now Uranus is retrograding, so the surprise could come back and do something or be delayed. I just want you to understand that. Now, when we're talking about Elon's Mercury, Mercury in Cancer, the stallion of Cancer here, and it's sitting on top of the Mars in Cancer. Not that close, but there is some blow ups. I do think that he could be very confrontational in how they're trying to fight or achieve things. The communication could be a little bit too strong. It's like they're talking while doing, talking at people, not talking to them. Maybe there's impulsive messaging, verbal violence, sarcasm, just a mental and physical overload stimulation. That is what's happening there. Now, Elon's IC in Libra is sitting here, and it's squaring the Mars in Cancer. So you're talking about things that he values, and the instincts of the plan for America and the homeland is not seeing quite eye to eye. Okay. So his personal foundation and his roots, and maybe where he's from, his home, his lineage, because he's not American, right? It's not really in harmony, because there is this harmony, but there's conflict when it comes to the homeland of America. So there is that in achieving things, even from the past, that could be brought back up too. So Elon wants to dismantle and rebuild, but Doge wants to refine and reorganize according to this chart. A lot of major communication here. This is what you have. He wants to build, and this wants to destroy. And it's like, no, okay, we're not doing that. We're going to reorganize and refine, especially with that Taurus energy. Communication disruption here. Wants to act fast and bold, and even take risk could be happening here. Okay. So let me see what else. The chart vibes. Okay. Doge in his chart and a current chart. Yeah, let's go to currently what we have here. Current transits. And we're going to look at Elon, and we're going to break this down. Now, this is what I thought was interesting. I was mostly focused on Neptune entering Aries. It's entering his house of reputation, power, career, long-term goals. This is going to be a big issue. Now, before I get into that, these are the planets that are retrograding. This is where the announcements are. So this is his ideology. This is his beliefs, his global reputation. This is his ethics. This is his vision. And there is a realignment, a reevaluation. You know, there is a big this redo, reconsider, let's go back, let's revisit, because these things are not quite working. There's no harmony behind stage, behind the scenes in Pisces. There's this disharmony that's happening. Mercury does represent the announcements, okay? It could represent the departure, especially in Pisces, and also the thought process, because it could be confusing, especially when it's retrograding, especially when it's in Pisces, okay? That's why we had this quiet exit. Like, he left, but it's like, what? Well, why you ain't speaking up now? You got a Mars in Aquarius. You should always be speaking. So let's see. But this was definitely a private conversation. Conflicts around messaging was behind doors. Elon may receive information behind closed doors, and it doesn't work with the way he believes or his belief system and things. Okay, that definitely could be happening, but more could be revealed because we have this retrogrades. And so when they are out of the retrogrades and repeat this energy, then we're going to re-see some things behind the closed doors that could be coming out. Okay. Anytime you have any planets retrograding, you're talking about something's delayed, something's going to return and come back. It's going to be a do-over. There's a reunion. Like, could he be coming back? Is there some hidden truths? There is a possibility that because these planets are retrograde, and when they're retrograding, you can't believe them. There could be a possibility that he could be coming back. I just want you to know that it's slightly like that could be happening. He could rejoin. Maybe he's launching, redoing, repeating something. I just want you to know that is a possibility, because when a planet is retrograde, they say it and then they take it back. Just like I said earlier before, oh, he's not leaving. And then literally the next day, JD Vance is like, yeah, we're so happy. He's just going to take a step back. You know, that's definitely happening. Now, the sun and Aries is also conjunct Chiron in Aries in the 10th house. This is about his work, and there's some wounds here. There's a public identity crisis. He needs some healing when it comes to leadership, you guys, okay? That sun is going to shine a bright light towards it, and it's going to be like, okay, the healing must start, because there's some deep wounds, especially around your identity and leadership that's happening, and it's in your career, the house of your public reputation. This is a huge moment to be vulnerable, and now it's like you're exposed. Okay, you could be feeling betrayed, but and I'm talking about Elon. He could be feeling betrayed, but this is something that's a new start for you in regard to healing, and you need to heal. So that Venus retrograde in Pisces could be his values. There's a disillusionment in it. He's like, or there's an ending of what he did value, or there's an imbalance in a partnership, and that's the ending of that partnership, but it's retrograding, so we can come back to it. It may be coming back, you never know. Okay, now Doge didn't align with Elon's higher vision, a political idealism. That could be a possibility too with that placement. Now, Mercury in Pisces, and that's retrograding in that 9th house, also could be that messages and clarity, it was confusing. Okay, it could be a detachment or lacking strategic vision. He could be lacking that strategic vision. That could be happening. And then his ego is wounded. That is what you have here. Okay, now I want to talk about the predictions for Elon, and I really want to focus on the Neptune, because that is what really caught my eye. Okay, Neptune, and when you're talking about when we just say a few days from now, we're going to go to the 16th. Okay, because this is what I saw. Mercury is conjunct Neptune. Okay, now this is for the collective. Everyone is going to be feeling this April 16th, Mercury conjunct Neptune at 0 degrees. Okay, everyone. This is when the mind and confusion meets together. Okay, you can either get some psychic downloads, or you could be in a mental fog. You can either have divine intervention, or you could be open to things that are very unseen and be very vulnerable, or you could be very self-deception or manipulation. Okay, Mercury is about the mind, it's about the speech, it's about messages, it's about contracts, it's about day-to-day travel. It's also the planet of pranks, so that annoys me with Mercury, but it's that. And Neptune is about illusions, your dreams, deception, spirituality, collective oneness, compassion, endings. Okay, Aries is the opposite of endings, it's the beginning. It likes to initiate. It's first. There's instincts. There's bravery. It's the planet of the daredevil, of the warrior identity. It's also about the self and self-direction, right? So when you put it all together, what does this mean for the collective? It could be confusion. collectively. There could be some visions and messages coming our way and some bold statements, and it's not accurate. There's deception behind it. Okay. It could also be like, oh, you're having a new project. That also could be happening. Now, this also could be happening to Elon Musk. However, special to Elon Musk, this is going to happen in his house of career. Okay. So either, you could be very poetic with this, okay, very lyrical, or something very artistic, or you're very heightened with psychic abilities. And this also could be for Elon or you, okay, inspired with creativity. Yeah, you say things and it moves people. They feel it emotionally, okay. And also they could be about dreams and divine timing and insights and connecting to the higher meaning. Now, on a negative, because conjunctions are both positive and negative, and this is a very, very potent conjunction, and we'll get into that a little bit later for the collective. But there is also confused thinking, saying things you later regret or didn't mean, a lot of miscommunication, a lot of mishearing, a lot of misinterpretations, issues around honesty and clarity, wishful thinking, tendencies towards errors, lying to yourself and others, a lot of scams, conspiracy, and misleading information. Get ready for that in the news as a collective, okay? Poor boundaries in speech and thoughts, taking on other people's beliefs and really believing them with no kind of physical or tangible evidence, okay? Mercury and Neptune in Aries is going to manifest some bold things, but it's very unclear to others. Again, a lot of things with action, independence of the self. So, like really saying things about yourself that are not true. Okay, this also could be very inspired leadership, speaking about spiritual conviction, creative breakthroughs, courageous in your communicative truth. Also, too, a lot of spirituality and self-development, impulsive words, the spiritual ego, mental confusion, jumping into contracts or conversations without any full clarity. He could be signing that in regards to his work, but he has a lot of lawyers, so I don't see that happening. That could be happening to you. You could be listening to your gut feelings, and it could be a little bit lost in the sauce. Okay, now again, public image for him, this is about his legacy, this is about his power controls, this is about his power, all those things that I said. So, two things that could be happening for him. And Neptune's going to stay in here. Neptune's in here for like 13, 14 years. There is going to be a huge transformation when it comes to Elon Musk, when it comes to his career and his professional life, his legacy, his long terms, his public reputations, people seeing him as a leader of some sort or any type of authority. There is going to be a change, and either he will be behind scenes, because that Neptune can represent behind scenes, and Aries could be about himself. So himself are starting new, and he's starting to step behind scenes. That would actually be the best thing for him. Okay. That is one thing. Or he could be very spiritual. He can change his brand and he's going to be very spiritual. That is what Neptune also represents, a new journey in spirituality. And now he's like, get your crystals. Let's meditate. Let's put your crystals on your forehead and then put it in the Tesla. Okay. That also is what that could represent. Okay. And also it represents ending of a leadership. Okay, so we'll get more into more details up to this, but this one is a big one. Okay, the good part with this is that public messagings could be more magnetic. He could be healing. He could be inspiring others. He's rebranding his soul. He's a spiritual leadership. And then again, fogginess. He's lost in the sauce with his career. He's in Delulu land with his career. He cannot fathom what he's supposed to do. Okay, let me see what else we have. Let me see. Neptune, lost in his profession. He's definitely feels confused about where he's going. This is currently happening now, because Neptune just hit in Aries and it is potent, it is strong. Okay, this is currently happening now, and then when it hits around April 16th, when Mercury gets there, it's really going to be said. Okay, this is a difficult time for him, because he is defined by his work. This is me taking my notes, as a part of his identity, and Neptune is taking that away. It's questioning his purpose. That's what Neptune does. Okay, now for others this could be very positive, because you could be leaning into spirituality, you could be tapping into divine timing, you could be tapping into compassion and doing charity work. He could be doing that as well. However, from seeing what's happening, he's lost in the sauce. He's confused, like, who am I? They are violating my cars, which is very Pluto and Aquarius. And then on top of that, now Doge is asking me to leave because I'm pretty sure Doge asked him to leave. Okay. What else do we have? He may be deceiving others. He may be even deceived himself because people oppose his efforts to get ahead. He has to change his whole idea of attitude towards what he's doing. He has to I know he right now with this Neptune in Aries, he feels discouraged because we all know that his career and his reputation and his, space and all that stuff is a big deal to him. And now this Neptune in Aries is like, we need to question this. This is going to make you confused and lost. Okay. This is displacement and going to teach him to be less attached to his career, and what he does. This is also new in charity. I talked about that. So he could be doing some charity and social work and be more compassionate. That could be a new journey. He may also join a cult. I have to just tell you that Neptune is very deceitful and it's about the secretive of something that could be happening to him. Again, he could be behind the scenes. Okay. May even get better with predictions of the future. He could. And what the future wants because he has that Mars in Aquarius. Could be stepping back behind the scenes. I said that. He may be more confused on how to be a leader and what he really wants to do in his work life. He may be moody when it comes to his career, sensitive when it comes to his career, insecure when it comes to his career. This transit happens for 13 or 14 years, okay? That is what that happens. This is also releasing a lot of new beginnings and releasing things in his career. Let me see what else. Confusion around purpose. So okay. So I pulled some cards for here. This Mercury also. Wait, let me this Mercury. Neptune conjunct. Okay, it's sextile. It's sextile. What is it? Sextile this way. Sextile Saturn and Gemini in his 12th house. Oh, it is. No. Yes, it is. Okay, it's sextile his Saturn, and Saturn is restrictions. It's in his 12th house. This makes me think again behind the scenes, like almost like he's forced to be behind the scenes. He's limited to be stepping back and not be in the face of things. Saturn represents structure. It represents corporations. It represents his karma. It represents rules. 12th house represents secrets, hidden work, again behind the scenes. It could also represent spirituality. So there could be a spiritual element that he's doing. Okay, so secret communications regarding spirituality are working again behind the scenes. That's what I see, and he's limited. Mercury also is squaring his sun. Not Mercury. Neptune is also squaring his sun as well. This is another hit of the ego and lost in a sauce, right? The sun represents your ego, represents leadership, it represents your vitality. It's in his first house, and a first house is all about him. Okay, no one else but him. And again, Cancer is about, well, not again, but Cancer represents your emotional security and protection and where he feels safe. And he's lost in the sauce as far as feeling safe. Okay, crisis of identity, his credibility is going to be shot. Public may perceive him as deceitful, evasive, and contradictory. This is only going to get stronger as we go because that means it's just going to move closer and closer to that sun. It retrogrades and then it goes back to Pisces. Lord Jesus, we'll see how that goes. But it gets closer and closer. And I mean, look how long. I'm just doing the months here. It hits it directly 2027 of May. Okay, so you have that. He's going to be feeling this for a long time of his identity. People are questioning it. Okay, you are deceitful. So it makes me again behind stage. He may struggle with his energy, clarity, and public criticism. There may be confusion about his leadership and then about his intentions because that sun is about things that you're achieving. Now, this is also, which is great, it is trining his Neptune, which is very interesting, right? And it's a fire trine. So trine is very flowing, it's ease, it's blessing, okay? Sagittarius, his Neptune's in Sagittarius, so it's about the bigger picture, his belief, his global systems. Again, charity, this also could be dealing with law. This also could be dealing with his philosophies of life. And it's in his work. So his day-to-day work. This again makes me think he's going to be working behind the scenes because Neptune represents behind the scenes day-to-day work. That also is But this is positive. This is actually the most positive thing, and it's currently happening to him right now. So profound alignment between his spiritual work and work life. Channeling his inspiration from his day-to-day work. I wonder if he's at home and everything's working in his organization for a bigger picture for him and he doesn't realize it. Also, this could be a spiritual awakening through work. Possibility that he could spark a spiritual rebirth of how he works with service to others, again, giving to others as his day-to-day thing. So some predictions that I have here, and I pulled some tarot cards for him behind stage. Before I did this video with Elon Musk. And the sad thing is that I pulled the devil card. When it comes to his work. And Elon's identity is so entangled with power, it's so entangled with his status, it's so entangled with being the greatest of all time and this obsession with controlling things. And this could be an awakening. This could be a spiritual awakening that is happening for him with that Neptune and Aries. And the devil is going to point to the material dominance and you having to surrender spiritually, and he doesn't want to surrender to that Neptune where you lose control, and it's hitting his career, right? So again, this also could be that he wants to be a false prophet. I do want you to understand that. So that also is what that devil card could mean. But yeah, what else do we have? But the devil card represents the goat. It represents the greatest of all time. It represents being trapped and feeling imprisoned. That again is what he could be feeling. Neptune and Aries is going to be there for a long time, but as long as Neptune and Aries is in his 10th house of career and reputation, this is no bueno for him. He's going to either be behind stage, he's also going to be limited to things that he has control over, and I think that he might go to charity. He may want to be a false prophet. I'm just telling you, that could be easily possible here. Okay, I also pulled the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Cups is going to soften him, make him more compassionate, and make him more nurturing. So, when he's sitting on that high horse, because he sometimes sits on this intellectual high horse, and maybe that will come down for him as well. The Queen of Cups predicts a potential for emotional awakening, and it humbles him and causes him to connect to others, to the world, to unify as well. He may be forced to listen more, feel more, and be more sensitive to the collective. And then I said, what is the future looking like for Elon? And I pulled the Hermit card. Again, this is someone who's by themselves, someone who is alone, someone who is seeking the truth, but they find light within. This is someone who is a major solitude and isolation. So I think that he's going to step away from the spotlight. Okay, I think he'll be forced to, because that's Saturn. I think his ego is going to take a major blow. It is already. It's taking a major blow, and it's just going to get worse, and it's going to retrograde, and it's going to come back and make it even worse, because it's like, no, we need to cleanse this energy. We need to just cleanse you on out. So it's going to take some years, all the way to 2028, 2027, towards the end of that. But I do think in the long run, he's going to be stepping away. A lot of self-reflection, philosophical searching, and even like maybe some spiritual enlightenment happening for him. Now, I do want you to say that there is a potential for him wanting to be a guru of some spirituality aspect. I do see that happening for him in his career. Do you trust it? I would say no. Use your discernment. I do think that he will be charitable, though. For some reason, I feel like that will be happening. So he could possibly rebrand himself as a visionary, as some God-like spiritual leader. That could be happening. But I do think there will be deception in him being a leader, and he needs to balance the truth from the fantasy. He needs to let go of his career and release it, and believe in God. Okay, anyway, so that is what we have for everything, you guys. Let me actually pull some cards for us. Forget Trump and Elon. What about ourselves do we need to know? Okay, let's see how we are. Oops, some cards are flying. Just one. So we have one card that flew. Let me make sure. And this question that I'm going to ask is, how are we going to be affected if Trump? If Trump runs third term, how are we going to be affected by Trump in the future of 2029? Okay, and we have here, the Six of Pentacles. It looks like there'll be some fairness, some justice here. Okay, because if you don't see, it has scales. But there is giving and receiving. There's generosity. There's charity. Gratitude, support, mental help. We will be fine. Us listening to this will be fine. I can't say that about everyone else. Okay. So whether Trump goes a third term or not, us who are watching this video we will be fine. What about the collective? Let's see. Everybody else, okay? Again, we have the Nine of Pentacles. A lot of self-made energy, a lot of finances. This is great for money here. Abundance, luxury, self-sufficient. People will be fine when it comes to resources. So it makes me think that even the inauguration chart of thinking of long-term money, that might work out for the collective and even us, okay? And what about Elon? What are our thoughts? How will Elon affect us? Because he was in charge of Doge. What do we have? We have when Elon gets out the way, we have new opportunities and resources and finances and tangible things. A lot of things with money, new material offers, new job and promotions. Maybe that Doge thing will lay off the layoffs and people will have new opportunities in jobs or resources or stability and prosperity. May be good for the collective, okay? That is what we have for everyone. Looks very positive and abundant for the future for us. So we're going to have faith, right? We're going to keep God in our prayers. Well, God is going to have our back as a collective and us watching this. And, you know, it doesn't matter what Trump and Elon are doing because it doesn't really affect you because you write your own story. You are the head actress of your own book and you are writing a story. So it doesn't matter if it rains or shine, you continue to do your goals, right? Anyway, yeah, that's what I have. Thank you guys for watching and I will see you in my next video. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I have to do some stuff for my community. So I'm more focused on that. But it may be an unedited reading. All right, I'll see you guys next time.
Bye bye.